Hello, Alina. Happy to have you here. Do you mind introducing yourself to everybody?
With pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm Alina. I'm part of the Dutch IBM office, the IGX team in consulting. And my role there is experience design consultant, and I work within the Shell account, which is a global account. So we have teams all over. And yeah, I work with different project teams in different roles. So it depends very much on the project. Depends, a very popular word in consulting. But it ends from like doing user research to service design to experience design to storytelling for proposals. So really, really what comes to me, I take it, and I'm happy to help.
Great. So I know you've used the IBM Garage Experience platform, IGX, before, and do you mind letting us know how you learned about it and how are you using it in your work?
So currently we work on a lot of proposals, and one idea is that we actually want to use the Garage governance methodology and delivery method for these projects. And my role is actively to see how we can make that work, and also to explore this tool in what way it can help us make the whole project delivery a better experience for us and for the client.
Perfect. If I can ask, what do you like the most about IGX? You've used it for a little bit. What really kind of wows you or says, oh, this is great, I'm going to start using this on a regular basis?
I think the wow factor, definitely the AI capabilities, because within like AI, people talk a lot about it. It can do everything basically, but sometimes it's just really hard how to execute it. And I think especially like when it comes to assistants, like our Wundsam Assist, it's really nice to have predefined prompts that you can use, and you establish like a process that you rely to and how you can use these different elements within it. So for example, one element is the AI insights that the tool has, where you can build, we have a persona builder. So it provides you with a predefined prompt, and you just have to enter the elements of your case, and it creates a persona for you. How I used it was that we had actually a workshop, because I was in the beginning very skeptical about it. As a designer, you don't want to automate personas, because this is an important part of the project, to understand the customer needs and who are the people that we actually are involved, who are the different stakeholders, and it helps to align the team on who we are building a solution for. But what I saw was that we had a session where we built our persona, and one person was using the AI-generated persona in order to give input. And that was so strong, because it really helped us to be way faster in the whole process itself. Because if you start from a blank page, and sometimes it takes a bit to get going, and it really kind of enabled us to have even richer insights, which is in the end generates from like patterns that it finds in a lot of data.
Are there some features in the IGX platform that you find hard to understand or hard to use?
So one feature I was struggling a bit was the opportunity canvas, but I think that is mainly due to the fact that I was only using it for now in the discovery phase and in the co-create phase. So I never really went through the whole project as delivery process. And in the opportunity canvas, it's really exciting because you can generate it as well with AI. So it helps you to build certain aspects. But it has like this bar where it asks you create a draft, and then it goes continue into proven. And this whole process doesn't really make sense if you don't go through the whole delivery process. And that really showed me that actually the platform, you really get the value out of the platform if you use it in a garage context, and not just the one single capabilities. That's nice to use, but the richness of it is if you understand how the process works, if you apply it within the process, and if you kind of follow these steps and then use it in order to make that collaboration more efficient and better.
So the integration, the tracking of value across end to end, and the workflow of the business opportunity.
Yeah, and how everything is linked together in that sense. It really needs an understanding of the methodology behind, because otherwise the individual components, also with the value tree you created, but if you then create it and then you can maybe export it, but to really get the value out of it, you want to integrate it in your work process. And if you don't understand how that works, then it's a nice to have, but it's not creating the value tree should actually create.
Perfect. So I'm sure there is still activities that you have to do outside the tool that are related to Garage. What are some of these activities, and how do you see yourself using these activities in the future with other tools or other practices?
I think one main activity that I still prefer to do outside of the Garage tool is user research. Because currently it allows you to track all the pain points, which is super nice because you can indeed link it to the business value, which I think is one of the strongest features actually of the tool, is helping you to link your user insights to the business initiative. But what I personally miss a bit is, as a designer, I really like to map out all my research insights and cluster it, and see it also a bit in a more visual way, because currently it is more like a kind of a backlog of pain points, rather than like a visual representation of all your insights. And it also focuses in the wording alone really on pain points. And I really also think in the user research parts, you just can generate so many rich insights. Of course, you also have the backlog, but yeah, so it's the visual representation, I would say.
Okay. I mean, continuing on this question, are there other features you wish IGX had that would make your life easier, other than the visualization of research?
I think on research, I like that it already starts to integrate this design aspect into the tool, and that the tool actually thinks about our needs, because user research can be quite lengthy, it's quite costly. Often companies don't want to spend a lot of time on it. So using AI in different ways to make this process more efficient is amazing. So what would be, I think, a cool initiative would be if you take your user interviews and you could just drop your audio file, it transcribes everything, and then you maybe start a chat to interact with your transcript, and you co-create together with the tool the pain points, you try to define a value. Maybe it is even connected to like our value orchestrator. How's the platform where we collect all the our research center, business value, the
pinpoint tracker? Or?
No, we have within IBM we have a whole institute that is just doing user research. IBV, thank you.
So that is coming actually. So the benchmarks from IBV will be part of IGX soon. So
that would be, I think, really strong if you could interact with the user interview. You try to define pain points from the user interview, and then it enables you to, based on the benchmarks, give these pain points a value.
Some metrics to compare against. I think you also inspired another idea. Maybe we should leverage all the IBV research as part of the.
Indeed,
Maybe create a IBV model that we use as part of the generation, research, insights, all of that. Yeah, that's nice. Very creative ideas. Thank you. If I would say, I mean, you've seen a lot of the features. Is there a specific feature you'd like to see improved in its existing form, to be improved so that it can be more useful for you?
Yeah, I think that maybe with the value orchestration, what would help me a bit more is like in the tracking itself, like throughout the project, if you would be able to understand how the different values are currently achieved. So maybe you have like a value tree that you generate in the beginning, and that is basically the desired situation. And then throughout the process, you are actually kind of live able to track how much value you already achieved. That would be, I think, really cool. And within the business canvas, I feel like kind of the onboarding experience.
More guidance.
More guidance in the onboarding experience in a way that I think it's super important that teams use it in the right manner and like understand the steps. And I think that can help in making the usage even better.
Yeah, I think that's our focus was mainly on functionality first, but then I think now we need to focus on usability and adoption. I mean, just for your first point, the value tracking of realized value tracking that's in the tree right now, it just you have to get to realize some of the pain point and features and so on, and then you're going to start to see the rest of the tree light up and progress of value realization show up in the tree. So there's still a lot of hidden things.
Yeah. I haven't been in the delivery yet, so we need to change that.
So how likely are you to recommend this tool to your peers from a score from 1 to 10?
I would say very likely, but I think it depends very much on who I would recommend it to. So I personally think it creates a lot of value for project owners, everyone who leads a team, because I think it needs a bit of a coherent strategy as a team as well, how you use it. And then I think it has a lot of strength because it also provides different workspaces. So taking my scenario, I work in an account where different projects are going on at the same time. And if everyone would have their own workspace and kind of collect all the insights from the value that they generate with each of the projects and the pain points, then everyone else in the team could access this information in such a transparent way, and it would take away a lot of the who knows what information and like the time that it sometimes takes to find where the right information is placed and who is the owner of it. I think that would be quite valuable. And for designers, I think why I would recommend it for them as well is maybe less so to use it as like for their own personal research as a research tool, but more as an ability for them to get more connected to the business and be able to translate their ideas into business needs. Because what you often see is that, what is the client willing to pay for is the most important question, or like what is the value we are creating for the client. So if you do user research and you find out specific pain points, it's super strong and important to actually be able to connect it in a way to how you help solve the overall goal of your client. And this is with the value tree and this whole process actually possible. And that I think that would be the message that I would try to give to designers rather than just see it as your new mural tool.
If you would give an average score from 1 to 10, how much would you?
To whom?
To anybody.
I would say I give it a 7.5 because I think there's still a bit to improve, but I would highly recommend it to use it.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to add on your experience in using IGX, or where you see it going, or how you see it helping in your work, or? And I know you hit on most of these points.
Yeah.
So, I know it's a hard question.
It is. So I think, for me personally, my biggest goal behind it is actually to establish a way within my team to use it. So this is my main goal for now, is really to actually show it to my different team members and like try out how we can use it to collaborate better. And I think that's also the main message behind the tool. I think it's a collaboration tool that allows internal and external stakeholders to facilitate collaboration in a very transparent way. But I think one aspect that I forgot to mention was also with like the squad health, that I think it would be nice if if it allows a bit more like personalization to the individual needs, because if you set it then up for your team, every team is different. So the squad health is like a survey that is being asked after every iteration, and currently it's just putting it in a numeric score, and it doesn't allow like to add your own questions. And I think specific teams have like specific needs, and also specific cultures maybe have different questions that they would like to add.
Sure.
So I think that could be an interesting add-on. But yeah, I hope my team is as excited as I am about it, but I do know they are, and a lot of people are already talking about it. So spreading the word, trying to show it to people, and trying to figure out usage ways. And yeah, like Twitter, like helping the first setup, I feel like that could be, that could really improve the usability and the overall engagement, to not just set up on workspace and then forget about it, but really like also use it for a longer time. If you have to ensure that you invite other people, and that you have to kind of maybe even make a bit of a commitment or so, or like maybe not even have to use it for a whole garage already, but maybe kind of let them go through a boot camp. So kind of make teams commit to a week of using it, or like one project of adapting to it, and using it within a tool to make the commitment lower than a whole garage, because I think you need to experience it, you need to try it out to actually see the value behind it and the usage. And then if you understand it, then it's really nice to bring it in a project, because then you can also sell it better to the client that you want to use it with. So that would be something that I think.
So you recommend to pilot it first for a period of time, and then once you buy into it, then you go full.
It's really,
full scale.
it's maybe like a pilot within your own account and with your own team.
Yeah.
You pilot it first before you go out and want to do it with the client, because you need to understand it yourself first.
Yeah.
And that is maybe also a lesser commitment. And there you can maybe, I don't know, take them on the hand, or you have maybe an ambassador within every country that is becoming like a pilot lead.
Yeah.
Like now with the bootcamp, we already have a lot of different ambassadors. So maybe each country gets like one ambassador, and pilots from time to time with each team makes like micro pilots or so.
Yep.
Like the Watson X challenge, you have like a week garage pilot.
Garage challenge.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was amazing, and hope we can connect with you again.
Yes, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.